Hey YouTube, this is Jim from the Triangle 4 channel. Thanks for watching. So if you've kept up with the other videos, you know about the problems I had here with my Ford tractor rear remote hydraulics. But I still love this mechanism they built. It's so simple. And if you followed the other video, you notice that the new unit I bought sits down here in place of this block, and it's got two little handles that pull back and forth. When I was out using the transport discs and discs and drags, it's amazing having to bend over that far to reach down by your ankles. I mean, it hurts your back. Takes a lot more concentration. It's probably a little more dangerous because I'm not watching everything that I should be. And it got me rethinking this. What an elegant design, simple mechanics, everything's still in place. All I'd have to do is take off this hydraulic unit when I unbolt it from this lower plate, which comes around here with the holes. I can just have this lever, this bracket that's sitting on that plate, and get rid of the rest of that for now. And if I go over with another handle like this, and I put a tube over this, so I don't even have to move it, just a piece of round steel tubing over it with the same type of, I'll call that a dog leg on the end. Then I can have two levers using the same bracket, and I think I can get these with a piece of linkage that I'll have to make to come down and actuate the other hydraulic actuator. So that's today's project. Stay tuned. So how do you go unnecessarily way above and beyond on a project? By turning something like this bolt into that thing right there. I shouldn't have put it all together, but I ain't gonna take it apart now. Took this on my lathe, or another one just like it. Got it to length. We bored out the center. Chamfered the ends down, or whatever you want to call them, bored them down so they would fit this and this handle, which I then welded on. And what this is the original piece is on a smaller rod. That's why we bored the hole all the way through it. And then this upper piece is now it's a piece of tubing for this other cam to go on, and I've got to tighten it all up. This isn't even up there, but when that plate gets bolted to that plate, what is supposed to happen is I've got to make a couple pieces of linkage, whether it's threaded rod or something, to go from these two cams, which separately are controlled by these two levers, and they will go in where this one sits and the one right below it, and hopefully pull those back and forth, and I won't have to be sitting all the way up here and reaching all the way down there, which if you saw in my the dragging video and probably both the disking video, you'd see that I was killing my back trying to bend over and reach those controls and watch things, and plus it's dangerous. It's not good for the machine, for the equipment. So that's what I'm working on, but it's coming along. Looks pretty cool. Well, to me it does. Now, why did I go ahead and do all that on the lathe instead of just going to the store and finding, you know, like Lowe's or something there and finding the right outside tubing, the right tubing? Basically because I haven't gotten anywhere. I really haven't. And it just, I knew it was going to be faster if I did that on the lathe. Plus it was fun. What the heck. I don't get to use that thing very often. Another farmer fix. But anyway, keep you posted on how that works out. Okay, here I am at the welding table. Really? Alright. And finally getting back to this, you know, with Labor Day weekend and other things going on. You know, it's just been busy. So, what am I welding up here? Let's take a step back. This is a nice way to mock things up and play with things. I'm going to take you over the tractor and show you exactly what it is. Okay, so I've had to come out and use this thing a little bit. And it's been a nightmare, you know, these, if you remember, these little handles down here, bending down and grabbing them. So I mocked these handles up, and the arm's completely on the wrong side. But it moves these two tabs over here, if you can see them. There's that one, and there's that one. Yeah, it's not a real great view of it. So my little mock-up is for how was I going to get to from this tab down to that lever. This is kind of what I came up with. This will slide over that. There's a, well, believe it or not, there's a little jog right there, and well, you'll see it more when it's together. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of the process of what I went through. This was completely flat. Took it on the bandsaw and I made slits where I had to, you know, give it a little bend. So it'll be something like that. But not cutting all the way through, obviously. This is just a piece of what we call Luan board. It's a real cheap, thin type of plywood. And so I traced it all out with a pencil, and I'm going to refine it a little bit. But now I can still lay this flat on my metal and cut things out, and I'll show you how that went. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. You see this L-shaped kind of bracket thing, and over here I cut another piece out that matches this guy. And so what I'm going to do is I took a piece of this kind of stock stuff, cut off the length I wanted, cut off a separate little piece, and butt welded it. Now that's going to go over the top of that. I'm going to weld that from the outside because I need that groove to match up like this thing. And I've already pre-fitted this, so I know it fits. And then I'm going to drill a hole through there that corresponds with the tab on the tractor lever, put a bolt through it, and yeah, pretty that up a little bit. Alright, stay tuned. Okay, back with, well, more than a mock-up. Now you see what I was talking about? If you take a piece of metal and you cut through it, but not quite all the way, you can bend it up pretty nicely, get it to fit, and then what I'm going to do is go back in these fillets and just fill them full of weld on both sides, tighten that right up. You can see this piece on the outside I cut to match the outline of that lever. Okay, and again, that lever already has a hole in it. Can I get this out of the way? Which I'll have to put in here. So now the idea is that slides right over there. The flat piece from the back here goes right up against this, and I'll have a bolt that just goes through that one existing hole. That'll hold it tight, and then when that lever gets moved, I'll have a connecting rod from one of those to that. Very simple connecting rod. And that should actually, yeah, I'm really pretty happy. This is maybe a little too stout, if there's such a thing. I may thin it up a little bit, but not a lot. Now this won't fit this one, little different shape, but basically the same idea. I'm going to do the same for both. Each one of those will have a connecting rod down to these two guys. Alright, more to come. Okay, latest update. We went from this, or should I say that, to this. Gonna take it in, see if it works. I may cool it off a little bit here. It's not the prettiest, but see how she does. Okay, we're back here, and probably from the wrong angle, because it's gonna be hard to see how that fits from there. But I can already tell you, just by my fingers, that that's a pretty darn good fit. Pull, push. Yeah, we'll get it figured out. Oh, it's hitting right here. I thought it was hitting the tractor. Alright, so I can notch this, just like I notched that one, and I can get a little more travel. Alright, good to know. I'll go get a pencil and do that. Well, let's see what happens here. See if things are gonna work the way I hope. Of course, I got lock nuts, so they're not gonna go on all the way. Not even close. And I probably should put this through before. Is that, oh yeah, alright, that'll work. Well, that nut's gone. But that's the idea. Alright, let's see. So that one can be probably right there. And I'll make I'll get a threaded rod as an adjusting rod. Forward, back, forward, back. Perfect. And this guy, of course, he'll be a little tighter. A lot tighter. Same type of deal. He'll probably be right there and forward. Well, right there would be back, so right there would be neutral. Yeah, well, shoot, we'll figure it out. Alright, it's coming along. Alright guys, we're pretty close here to the finished product. Real curious to see what you guys think. I'll just show you what I did. You can see that guy's just sitting there. Here's the other one. That's going to go on there. And what did I do here? So, take that off temporarily. Put that nut back on quick. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I made. If you can see that, it's two nuts put together with another bolt welded to it. And these guys, if I can get that started straight, sometimes threaded rod's a little tricky. And then I'll sharpen that on. Oh, yeah, there you go. Anyway. Okay. So what's the purpose of this, right? Purpose of this is exactly what you see on this guy over here. This goes up there. This gives me adjustment for back and forth. This goes through that hole, and when we turn that lever, this gets pulled back and forth. I'm going to have a nut here and a nut here, one on each side of that valve, so I can also adjust. I can either just travel here or travel back there. Curious what you guys think. Was this way too elaborate, or you think it's a decent idea? I guess you'll have to let me know in comments. So there's the other one. That's how it works. This goes back and forth, and it slides out like a piston. All right, let me get a little further, and then I'll have you join in. I normally never put vice grips on threads, but I also believe that I will never use the thread in the position where I've got the vice grip, so I'm, in this case, not too worried about it. Oh, and I gotta tighten those vice grips just a little. This would be a lot faster if I was using that impact driver. But this is just real quick. I'm not going to show you both of them. Just give you my quick idea of what I think is gonna happen here. Let's see if that's enough. That's for the top one. And yeah, I think that's good. There we go, something like that. Get the vice grips back out. Seems like a lot of overkill, at least it does to me. But honestly, I couldn't come up with anything better, and I partially got to use what they already had on this tractor, which thank God they already had that, because if I had to build any more, I'd go crazy. This would probably be easier if I knew somebody with like a plasma cutter or something. But I don't close by. Yeah, I gotta tighten that up. But what the heck? Here's the maiden voyage, right? Let's see. Alright, it does not want. Oh, that's not good. Alright, we got things not really working here. So I probably gotta tighten a couple things up. And then I'll be back. Okay, I had to cut away here for a while. I really didn't want you to hear a lot of the words I was saying. I don't like to do that in front of my kids or on the camera. That's, but there was a lot of it going on. So if any of you know what a Rube Goldberg machine is, well, guess what this is turning into. It's getting quite elaborate, kind of silly in some ways, but I can't figure ways around it. I've come to the conclusion I cannot put this rod through that hole and get the amount of travel that I need. So, kind of thought of a couple other ideas, and this is what I came up with. This is going to screw into the end. And I am going to probably take some threads off because there's a little too much there. By the way, these are the handles they provided. Let me, oh God, of course I got that screwed in there. Let me do it here. There's the amount of travel you get. And that was supposed to go into there, and obviously we're not made for this platform. So, what's next? I believe I can put all this together like that. Now, oh wow, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. That is all I wanted in the first place. Perfect amount of travel. I will tighten these up so there's not so much slop. I'll probably put some thread locker on here over time. As you can tell, that's not exactly the right thread. That was metric, which surprised me. But it's close enough for what I'm doing. And I may even put a stop nut on there. That's probably not a bad idea. So, there we go. That's the idea. I'm getting closer, honest. Alright, thanks for watching. Okay guys, through the power of trial and error, which sometimes is a nightmare, so here's how this whole thing works together, right? I'll go with this bottom one. You can see in one direction I'm getting a lot of travel. The other one, I'm just not getting up, because even though this is a larger round hole in this nut, which was something like this that I made, things are just binding. This nut's not moving to the side, and just, it's not coming back. It's not coming back enough. I've got plenty of play. I made the, where that threaded rod goes through, I got rid of the threads on the grinder, made it a smaller diameter, and I'm just not happy with it. So I kept playing around. There's got to be a better idea, and this is what I came up with. It's a piece of pipe. I cut, portion of it out there to be able to get a nut on, and that slides over that. I don't even have to tighten this up, I don't think. Just to show you anyway. That goes through there, and I cannot put that nut on one-handed, so give me a second. Okay, look at that, nuts on. Power of pause. So, with that simple idea, watch this. Full travel, real easy. That's all I wanted. All that elaborate welding and cutting and trying different things, and there it is. Alright, I'm going to tighten all that up, get the right length bolts, the right size stuff, and show you again later. Okay, this has been one of the tougher builds I've had to do, or fixes, in a long time. But I think I'm happy with the design, and let me show you guys. I'm going to have to turn this around. Hold on. Alright, so here's the finished product. Exactly what I was hoping for. Of course, the big test is putting it on a piece of equipment, but I've got lock nuts in place. That one lever that came that way, I may straighten that out eventually. It's kind of hokey. Man, for what it turned out to be, looking relatively simple, that was a lot of work. A lot of trial and error, but I'm glad I finally came up with these half pipe units. This will make life on that tractor so much easier. Yeah, these, too bad it was a lot of work, but it, just didn't work out. I just knew I wouldn't be happy in the long run. This, I think I can live with. Alright, well, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching.